Hey everybody, this is Patriots Worldwide. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to give my thoughts on the frustrating loss versus the Cardinals and just give my overall opinion on what to expect against the Buffalo Bills this upcoming Sunday. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it and begin. The Patriots were blown out by the Arizona Cardinals, losing 17-30, and I use the term blowout very loosely because the game was not as close as the score may dictate or have you think. Drake May, however, did have a good game, and that's really great considering how lackluster and unimpressive this offense is, completing 19 out of 23 passes, throwing for 202 yards, one touchdown, and rushing for one touchdown while also having a fluke interception, but the statistics will not tell you that specifically. Keishawn Butte had himself a good game with 3 catches for 44 yards, leading the Patriots in receiving this week. And running backs Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson had some really good games. Gibson, 7 carries, 33 yards, and Ramondre had a very quiet but very dominating 13 carries for 69 yards. Nice. Fortunately, on defense, we just had a very laughable performance orchestrated by the mastermind known as DeMarcus Covington. Obviously, that was a joke. He is the farthest thing from a mastermind. I don't even know where to begin. His play calling is just very atrocious. And yeah, I will resort to the same logic and argument that he does not have a lot of talent to work with, same as Alex Van Pelt. But the difference is with Covington, our defense should be stronger than our offense, as we do have more talent on that side when healthy. And overall, not just on defense, but this entire team just incredibly lacks discipline. And there are things that we see on TV that would not slide under Bill Belichick. Part of me, and I've mentioned this many times before, I do believe that inside the locker room and even before the season, the team was not expected to win a lot this year or even at all. So for all we know, they probably were just thinking, hey, we're not here to win. We're just here to establish a culture and build something off of Gerard Mayo. Let's obviously play the game, have fun, because that's what should come first, regardless, in some aspects. Just have fun. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. But just look at this year as a quote-unquote screw around and just have fun with it. Which sounds cool in theory, but when you see it on TV, and a bigger example was late in the game when we were mounting a comeback, if you want to call it that, Brendan Schooler missed an opportunity to recover an onside kick. It just seemed like he was looking right at the ball and he didn't want to dive for it or anything, didn't even want to try. If that was Belichick, he would make Schooler run 10 extra laps in the following training camp the next day. And even on the sideline, when the Patriots were down 17-30 with the clock winding down, you could see guys like Drake May, Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas all laughing and having a good time on the sideline, which is great. We all want to see our guys having fun and really building chemistry and just having a good time, but not when you're losing by double-digit scores. Like, come on now, that's not the Patriot way that we know, and that's okay because we're trying to establish a new one, but hopefully this time by next summer/spring training camp, everything will be different. And hopefully coach will have more of a grip on how to figure things out, and there will be more discipline amongst the locker room and this team. And finally, the one bright spot on defense continues to shine, and that is cornerback Christian Gonzalez. He was covering Marvin Harrison Jr., who was touted as a generational receiver coming out of this previous NFL draft. Gonzalez was on Marvin Harrison Jr. for 25 routes, allowing 4 targets for 1 catch, 23 yards, and breaking up 2 passes. That doesn't just happen with any cornerback on any receiver, especially when the receiver is a generational talent. So on the bright side, at least we have our star corner, and we have our quarterback of the future. So we just got to keep building around those two and take it from there. But thankfully, Christian Gonzalez can pull through when we need him to. That's really all I've got to say about the game. Thankfully, there were not any significant injuries, and Drake May had a really good stat line considering how bad this offense is. Unfortunately, during the week, however, Christian Barmore was placed back on the injured reserve list, officially ending his season. And even though he did not play at 100% this year, at least we got to see him play after the blood clot diagnosis back in August. So just really cements the fact that the guy's a warrior and he's a fighter, and he's looking to come back stronger than ever next year. So now it's on to Buffalo. Oh, good Lord. Now, there's a huge difference between being positive and being delusional. I know we are not going to win this game, and everybody with common sense knows that Buffalo is going to steamroll New England, as Buffalo is on a heater this year, and they are playing some of their best football we've ever seen. And really, I just got to give a big apology to Josh Allen. I thought he was going to fall off without the likes of Stephon Diggs to really just help him and really just rack up his stats. But Allen is playing his best ball yet, and hats off to him. I know he's a division rival, and I don't like to play him. I respect him as a quarterback and a player. He seems to be doing everything right, and he is, without a doubt, in the top two for MVP. It's between him and Lamar Jackson. Maybe it's the bias talking. I still think Lamar deserves it more than Allen. But if I truly had to pick somebody for MVP, it should be running back Derrick Henry. But nonetheless, I'm getting off track here. I truly believe the final score of this game is going to be something like 65-13 in Buffalo's favor. I just don't see a world where we can keep pace with them. But then again, this year has taught me one thing, and that is we always either win or we keep pace with a team that we are supposed to get destroyed by. And when we are going to face a team that we should beat by like 25, we end up losing by 10. So there's like that 1% chance that New England pulls off the upset on the road. This could be a trap game for all we know, but nope, getting way too ahead of myself with that delusional mindset there. Like I said, I think Buffalo steamrolls us, and Allen will probably have his best game of the season with like a 5-6 touchdown performance. We'll just see what happens. Regardless of the score and the outcome, I think our three biggest concerns are no major injuries for anybody. Christian Gonzalez continues to make a name for himself on defense and continues to shine as a lockdown cornerback, and if you ask me, he's top 2 in the league behind Patrick Surtain II. And of course, Drake May has another really great stat line. I really hope to see 2 touchdowns, either passing or rushing, or even one of each, 200 yards. Hopefully he eclipses the 250 mark. And it would be cool to see Javon Baker get a few snaps, but at this point, we're more likely to see Bigfoot riding a unicorn over a shooting star during a solar eclipse, where all the planets align on Friday the 13th. Oh man, this is going to be such a very long game, and all that really matters is Drake May, Christian Gonzalez, and anyone on this team just does good and shows a positive spark for the future going ahead. Just got to rip the Band-Aid off and get this one over with. And just because it's a featured segment on the podcast every week, I am now going to go over what I believe are the keys to victory this week versus the Buffalo Bills. On offense, Drake May, let the guy cook. Just get opened, catch the ball, and make plays. Demario Douglas, I'm looking at you. You're supposed to be the most explosive player we have on offense in the receiving room. Get open, catch the ball, make plays. Do what you did versus the Cowboys last year where you were spinning around and juking players out of their shoes. Ramondre Stevenson, hold on to the ball. Do not fumble. Do not dip your gloves in Vaseline before the game. Just go out there and hold on to that thing. Antonio Gibson, keep doing what you're doing. Kendrick Bourne, I don't care. Get your 2, 3, 4 receptions. Do your little first down dance celebration. Just do it. Get in the end zone. Kayshon Boutte, put the controller down and focus on football more. You'd be an all-pro receiver if you put all of your time and effort and energy into football rather than streaming on Twitch. You're a great receiver. You are our leading receiver last week, and you have potential. You'd be an all-pro if you just put all of your time into football. Hunter Henry, keep doing your thing. You are our leading receiver in yards. Just get in the end zone and you'll be fine. Austin Hooper, you lead the team in touchdowns with 3. I forgot about the first one. Just do your job, continue doing your thing, keep getting opened. Jalen Polk, find your hands, get a hand replacement, back up all of your hype you had coming into the season. On defense, Christian Gonzalez, you're good. You keep doing your thing, it's working. Kyle Duggar, learn how to tackle, learn how to cover. Don't do what you did last week where you were in coverage and then you ran to Kyler Murray thinking you were going to be the hero when you were like 35 yards away from him. Not literally, just exaggerating for a fact here, but you're not that guy when you think you are. But it's okay, because all you need to do is just cover your man. Play zone coverage, man coverage, whatever the play is, just do it correctly. The pass rush, find your identity, become existent, make Josh Allen uncomfortable. DeMarcus Covington, flip the page over in your playbook and find those man coverages. Put a spy on Josh Allen. Marty Mapu, if he's playing, you put him on Allen. I don't care. You can get Teddy Bruschi out of retirement. Put him on Josh Allen. He'll do something. It's not hard to make a scrambling quarterback uncomfortable. Special teams, Joey Sly. Adjust that brick of lead in your boot and work on your aim. You'd be the greatest kicker in the league. All you have to do is work on your aim. Just pretend every kick is a 65-yarder and you'll get it. Bryce Behringer, just keep punting. With the wind, try not to punt out of bounds. We can do this if we just follow those steps. It's a lot, but that's why you're a football player, because you can handle this and you could do it. You could handle the tasks in front of you. I apologize for that. I just envisioned myself inside the huddle or within the locker room in front of this team, and I just blacked out and went with it. I think you guys would agree with me on that, though, that this team just needs to find its identity and just do the job at hand. Oh dear, I paraphrased Bill Belichick. Oh no. But anyways, that's my thoughts and my beliefs on the keys to victory against Buffalo this upcoming week. And I cannot wait for them to do the exact opposite of everything I pointed out. And as I keep mentioning every week, I just truly cannot believe how much this team regresses and gets worse. Every week we're always thinking, how could you be this terrible? How could you perform this bad? And then we say the same thing the following week. How did you get worse from last week? And it just continues. I remember at the start of the season, this team showed some promise, and then now we're just laughing at them. And I wholeheartedly believe that a junior varsity high school team could compete with this Patriots squad, which is so sad, but it's a painful reminder of how good we once had it. And I know deep down that one day this team will be good once again, and we'll get to that later in the season. But for now, we're on to Buffalo, and we're on to get demolished by Buffalo. And believe me, I hate saying that we're going to get demolished by anyone, let alone a division rival. But there's no use in not calling a spade a spade. It'll be fine. It's just very frustrating. And I'm not going to be delusional and say we're going to win by like 30 when we haven't even put up 30 points in a game this season, which is just very sad. But when you look at this offense, it's understandable, and you would believe it if you weren't a Patriots fan or didn't pay attention to the scores. But it'll be fine. We just got to get this game over with and just keep on rolling. As long as, I said, Drake May looks good, Christian Gonzalez continues to dominate, and the team just looks a little competitive or maybe keeps it close in the beginning, that's all that really matters to this game. It's not important if we win or lose anymore. Just got to look good and have faith for the future. One thing I just really want to see, and I've been trying to call for it each week, and it happened versus the Colts, I want to see a Christian Gonzalez interception, and it would be a lot sweeter if it happens against division rival quarterback Josh Allen. And one last thing before the outro, on a more serious note, I want to quickly give a little rant about Gerard Mayo. For the past few weeks and really all season, there's been all these calls that he should be fired, and people just really have not been liking him and backing him as much as they seem to have been back when he was first hired. And yeah, it is understandable, as he is really inexperienced, never had a head coaching job before. And I think the worst thing about him is, and really his worst quality, his biggest flaw, is the fact that he always goes back on his word or doesn't follow through with what he says. Biggest example, quote unquote, we have cash to burn, doesn't proceed to burn any cash. So, yeah, I could understand the frustration amongst the fan base, but we have to remember, he is still a rookie head coach, and I've mentioned this 1,000 times. Robert Kraft sees something special in Gerard Mayo to name him the successor to Bill Belichick 5 years before Belichick's departure. Now, Robert Kraft would not just hand the keys to the franchise to somebody who never held a head coaching position in any capacity, whether you're looking at high school, college, or the professionals. And in the final years of Bill Belichick's tenure as Patriots head coach, Gerard Mayo was receiving calls from teams about vacant head coaching positions. Most notably, the Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers inquired about Mayo's availability. Now, like I said, going back to the whole thing with Kraft, these teams must see something special in Gerard if they are willing to offer him any position for a coaching vacancy, especially a head coaching vacancy for a guy who's never been a head coach before. We can't just give up on him. And you got to remember that Bill Belichick's first year as Patriots head coach, he won only 5 games. And I'm sure a lot of people back then wanted him out, as we know social media wasn't around back then, or at least wasn't as mainstream as it is today, and it wasn't as simple just to put your thoughts out there on any person of a coach, player, or anybody of that position. So we just got to be patient with Gerard, and I've been saying this for a long time. We just got to put those talks of moving on in the back burner right now. The way I see it, if we have a really great offseason and surround this team with talent and just load up, and by this time next year, if we're still stuck at 3 wins at this point in the season, then you start having the conversation of should we move on from Gerard Mayo. But I just don't think we should give up on him yet. Because remember, Bill Belichick, 5 wins in his first season, and then went on to become a 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach. Regardless if you want to give him the credit or not, he still won 6 Super Bowls. And I'm not saying Gerard Mayo would win us 6 Super Bowls. It'd be a lot cooler if he did. But we can't just quit on him if he's not giving us the results that we want immediately. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows every year. Believe me, it's going to take time. But if we do everything correct and Gerard Mayo just sticks to the plan and just gets a better grip on how things work and are handled as a head coach, I'm sure he'll be fine. You just gotta just roll with the punches and ride along with them. I once again apologize for getting ahead of myself and going on another few side tangents. As for the game against Buffalo this weekend, regardless of what happens, I just keep saying it. Where there's delusion, there's hope. It would be cool to win. If not, it is what it is. All that matters to us, no injuries. Christian Gonzalez continues to dominate, maybe gets an interception. Drake May has another good game, fairly decent. Hopefully he gets 2 touchdowns, whether if it's passing, rushing, one of each. 250 yards would be very nice. I just want him to step up and remind everybody why he gets compared to quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. And it would be nice to defeat Buffalo on the road in their home stadium. It's always special. They have a great crowd, and it's always nice to put up a fight in there. But like I said, regardless of what happens, let's just get this one over with, rip the Band-Aid off, and just move on to next week. It's insane to me how fast the season is closing. And every year it always goes by fast. Nothing new, but it always comes as a shock to me. Looking forward to the game, so we'll just see what happens. That might be a new high on the podcast for how many times I've said the line, we'll see what happens on one singular episode. I'll take it. We take those. Alright, I believe I've said everything I wanted to say and I've covered everything I wanted to cover. As always, thank you all so much for listening, and I look forward to doing this all again next week as we take on the Los Angeles Chargers in our second to last game of the season. Still crazy to me at how fast the season has come and gone. Looking forward to our matchup against Buffalo, and let's just make the best out of a bad situation, and hopefully we walk away with an upset victory. If not, looking forward to next week. Let's just enjoy the game and have a great Sunday. Go Pats.
Go Pats!